right, everybody out there in Podcastville, this is the Multi-Track Minds podcast. Today is a special episode. We have not one, but two very special guests. We have Jose Silva, who is a security operations manager, and we have Korey Herms, who is the field supervisor for a security company. We work together, and we're going to talk about some security tasks and just some of the stuff we've been through. And well, let's start it off with Jose. Why don't you tell us of how you started off, what you did before you got into security, and how you ultimately ended up in the position you're in now?
So I've been in the security industry for over 20 years. Back in 2005 is pretty much when I started. Before I came into security, which was a coincidence, I was in manufacturing and distribution. I was a warehouse manager for two departments for a company for about 10 years. Unfortunately, that company laid off, and I was out of a job, freshly married, on my second kid. And, fortunately, my father-in-law was in a security business full part-time, and I need a job. So he got me an interview, and, the rest is history. I started off as a security officer, 2005, and come to find out, I was pretty damn good at it, man.
You had a passion for it.
Immediately I had a passion for it. I love what I did, and, right then and there, I knew that that's what I wanted to do, because it was about helping people. It was about ensuring, safety and security. It was about, ensuring a safe and secure environment, for that hospital, that I started off at. And, it was just, it just, everything evolved from there, and
so you climbed up the ladder to
different
positions, different management positions, supervisors and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, from security officer, I got promoted to shift manager, and then I went on to another company for an overall department supervisor, and then I became a manager, and then executive director of safety and security for a school district. And unfortunately for me, within that time, I got involved with a couple companies that had layoffs, so which brought me to the company that I work for now. And now operations manager, and I just everything evolved from there.
Right.
And I love what I do. I love helping people, and I obtained my undergrad. Everybody, when it comes to law enforcement and security, they obtain their undergrad or degrees in criminal justice, but I kind of took it a step further than that, and obtained my degree in Homeland Security and Public Safety.
Wow.
Nice.
So, I got my, obtained my emergency management and security officer certifications, and I'm a certified Homeland Protection professional. I'm actually a licensed private investigator as well. So
nice.
I kind of, expanded, my security portfolio or private sector portfolio. So
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So it and that just comes with the individuals that
Right.
the resources you have, the people that I got a couple friends that own security companies. So I partnered up with them and obtained these certifications, and it's everything's kind of evolved from there.
Okay. So from 2005 until your position now, security operations manager, about how long did that take?
So
From a guard to a supervisor position, top supervisor position.
So it took years. It took years because obviously you have to prove yourself. You have to obtain. You have to have the experience. From an officer to a shift manager, it took me about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, and and again, that comes with them noticing that you're there each and every day. You solidify, your schedule, and you have a passion for what you do, and you act upon things as a security professional,
Right.
And it's about providing also that customer service, as well as that security aspect of things. So, then from there, about 3 years later, I became a department supervisor at a hospital. And then I was there for actually about 12 years, as went from a shift lead to a department supervisor. And then after that, that's when I became, a director for, a school district.
Man, you
so
had
it
you,
took
you
a
had a
while.
lot of experience.
Yeah, it took a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of
It
stuff.
definitely took a while.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not easy. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. So,
But it's
uh,
great because you
yeah.
know all those jobs,
Yeah.
all those positions. You know what goes on because you've done them. So that's why you're a great supervisor. Because
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, and you know what the job entails because you've been there. I think that's a very good talent that you have.
Yeah.
The Homeland Security thing, that's what caught my ear. What tell us
Yeah.
more about that?
Sure.
So it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and
Did you kill Bin Laden?
Or maybe he did.
that was Corey. That was Corey.
Yeah.
But no, it was, like I said, I took it a step further, and it just, not only do you learn, the general criminal justice aspect of, things, but, it actually goes a step further, into, Homeland Security, when Homeland Security began, how it came about, and then it just goes into more emergency management, mitigation, responsiveness, preparedness, of, emergency situations. So,
Sure.
Not necessarily something that, you learn within the criminal justice field, but, so that's why I kind of took it a step further, and,
Right.
I looked at the brochure, and I'm like, oh shit, Homeland Security and public safety. Okay. Yeah. But, so it definitely goes into more in depth, as to general overall criminal justice and, all aspects of, Homeland Security, what it entails, emergency management situations, how to deal with them, how to prepare yourself, to mitigate it. So yeah, so it was definitely, and I was, when I graduated, I was literally the only one that graduated from that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from that basically degree,
Position.
from that degree. So literally the only one.
Dynamite, man.
So
Yeah.
are you with the CIA?
That's confidential. That's
Oh, yeah, you know.
G14 classified.
All right. Well, this brings us to Korey, our field supervisor. Tell us the same thing. What were you doing before you got into security, and how did you get into security?
Okay, well, after leaving the military, Air Force, by the way, I'm prior security forces. I was a base cop, Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, PRP base. After leaving the military, I actually became a sales advisor for Napleton Rivos Honda. Never knew I was a salesman until me and my ex-fiance. We went in there. She was trading in her Honda Civic. At the time it was the brand new 2013 Honda Civic that they came out. And so I was sitting there, I was talking to the finance manager at the time. And we had conversation and stuff like that. And he asked me a question. He was like, "Can you talk to people?" I said, "Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're talking now, He was like, "Well, as far as sales," I'm like,
Charisma wise.
"Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I don't know." So he was like, gonna send you up to talk to. I'm gonna throw his name out there. Will James. He was the GM at the time.
Okay.
And sent me upstairs. And it was crazy. It's like 8:30 at night. The dealership was about to close, and went up there and we had a conversation. And it happened so fast. Next thing I know, I'm getting paperwork, application, and stuff like that. Fill this out. Be back here Monday. Do you have dress attire? Wear that. I'm like, okay. And it happened right on time because we had just got out. I actually met my ex-fiance. We served together. We just so happened to been from the same place, so we actually came home together.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's how that happened. And then after that, I became a logistics team lead for M Block and Sons, which is in Tinley Park. And there's a third-party housing facility for Keurig coffee products. And so I dealt with a lot of the inbound and outbound trucks and stuff like that. Then after that, I became a territory manager for PPG Architectural Coatings. So PPG owns Glidden Paint.
Okay.
So
I used to be a painter, and we use that paint all the time.
yeah, okay. So what my job was, so I was assigned certain Home Depots in the region that they gave me, and primarily my job was to go to the paint desk, train the paint desk employees on how to sell Glidden paint. I did rollouts, different displays, trying to convert people over from Behr, because people that work at Home Depot they are trained to sell Behr, because
That's
Behr
the
was the
number one
first paint that they put on their shelves, and Glidden we're like the stepchild,
Right. Right.
So that was a pretty cool job, and then after that, I kind of I kind of dove into the entrepreneurial aspect. Started my first business, K&J Landscaping, and
Nice.
tried it out. It was me and my dog. And Korey, of course, the K stands for Korey, and J, his name was Joe.
Okay.
JoJo, but that was just us. He would ride in the back of my pickup and stuff like that, and it didn't do so well, just because at the time you had to put ads in the Southtown paper and stuff like that. It wasn't a lot of avenues as far as marketing, like how social media is and stuff like that. Now it wasn't easy to really get your name out there like that during that time. So of course, we had bills and stuff like that. So I ended up getting with my cousin, which had a property preservation and rehab business. We worked together with that side by side with that. And long story short, we end up disbanding, and I needed an avenue of revenue.
Of course, right.
But I didn't want to just jump into anything.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Just to have a job. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I'm not a person that likes to go to work and I hate going where I'm going every day.
Not enjoy what you're doing.
You know what I mean? Because
that's the worst.
I'm a person that wears. Sometimes I can. I'm still working on it. I wear my stress. And I'm really working on that. Even still now, I'm 36 now, and I'm really working on it. Really, sometimes when I get home from work, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Sometimes I just need that time to decompress, and I don't want to see nothing move. I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 30, maybe an hour, whatever it
The
is.
same way.
We all need our peace of mind.
Oh, 100%, absolutely.
And so after that, I'm like, okay, well, let me try to do something that caters more towards who I am, and what I can and what I can provide for people.
Right.
And just like Jose said, as far as helping people, that's a natural thing for me.
Hospitality,
exactly. Even with just being in friendship with me, I will give you everything that I have.
Right.
Me
too.
But of course, in friendship, which I'm pretty sure you probably learned, that can set you up to be taken advantage of.
Yes.
In a lot of different ways.
Yes.
I'm not friends with a lot of people that I was, that I grew up with, stuff like that. Just due to those reasons and stuff. And So I ended up hearing about Prudential from a friend, and we started working in the high school, and then from then I did mobile security for one of the high schools, and just from the amount of work that I was putting in and my dedication to it and stuff, and it wasn't even, I'm not going to say it wasn't the dedication solely to just the people and you know, and not the job. It's just, I'm just a driven person. You know, just recently, you know, I just got into, you know, a car accident, you know, just while at work. I'm one of those people that, you know, I see the, you know, the end goal, and I'm not going to let anything stop me
Right.
from accomplishing, you know, just reaching that goal, you know,
Yeah.
not just for myself, but for everybody that's involved.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And, you know, some people ask me like, man, well, you know, you didn't take a few days off and you fractured your shoulder, everything like that.
Yeah.
Hey, ibuprofen can cure damn near anything to me. Okay. But I have a job to do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm the only field supervisor with our company. So I knew that if I was to take days or weeks off or something like that, no,
Right.
that couldn't fly. So I'm a person that likes to stay on mission, you know, and maybe that comes from the military, you know, but
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
You
At
know,
least 90% of it.
yeah. So things that I pour and, you know, pour my heart into and give my time to,
Right.
I dedicate myself to it 100%. You know, even if it means, you know, certain sacrifices, you know, as far as, and, you know, and it sucks, you know, sometimes, you know, with kids and family and stuff like that, you know, the wife and the girlfriend thing, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Can't go
as
on
long as,
tour, you can't do a lot of things.
yeah, but it makes it all the better too, you know, when you have a person that understands you,
Absolutely.
you know, understands who you are and,
Yeah.
you know, how you work and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, and so after putting in work with the company and stuff, I guess that was noticed, and I got that call.
Yeah.
You know, it's time for you to do something bigger than what you're doing.
Right.
You know,
That's
Well
awesome,
deserved.
man.
Well
Yeah.
deserved.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very, very well deserved. And thank you for your service as well.
my pleasure.
Yes. That's a fascinating story, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you,
Sure is.
we're a couple years older than you, not too far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to date us, but
I bet we're probably the same age.
Possibly. I'm
But-
a little up there.
for your age, you accomplished a lot. Is what I'm trying to say.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. That's,
Right.
Appreciate it.
And you too, Jose. You know, that's a lot of accomplishments, man. I mean,
Yeah.
driven people are the best, man. You know, it's my favorite kind of people, man. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, there's like, you know, people out there that, you know, they stub their toe and they got to take off for 2 weeks. You know? I mean, we just had, with the building I'm at now, we got a maintenance man. You know, he dislocated his shoulder, you know, which I know is painful. But the guy took off like 2 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. it's-
And just to kind of go back on what I was saying, so February 2nd, 2023, I had a heart attack.
No.
what?
Absolutely. I had a heart attack in the middle of United Center.
No way.
And that was actually going to be the first day, other than my son being born, that I was going to call off. Just because I just needed just some time just for myself, just one day,
Yeah.
you know, and I ended up having a heart attack. They weren't even done warming up yet.
Wow.
We hadn't even made it to the first quarter yet. And the Bulls was playing Charlotte, had the best seats ever. We were like 2 rows back from the floor.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
Never had those kind of seats. I thought that was going to be the best day ever. But on the way there,
Yeah.
I felt a little weird.
Uh-huh.
You know, I felt a little off. I had some pains in places that I haven't had pains before.
Uh-huh.
So
You feel it in your arm or?
yeah, it was like right here underneath my left arm.
Yeah.
And I kept getting this mild shooting pain across my chest. I'm like, okay, maybe I smoked too many cigarettes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So get to the stadium and everything like that, and walk into the stadium. You know you have to park, and this is February, so the wind is blowing. It's cold outside, stuff like that. So, but I'm more winded than what I normally am. I'm like, kind of fit a little bit, when I'm like, I get to the front door, I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was, but let's go sit down, got the beers and stuff, the food and stuff, and next thing you know, I feel this sharp pain just go across my chest. Now, people that have had heart attacks, everybody has like different experiences and stuff, but it's like a sharp pain went across my chest, and it was like pressure, and it hurt at the same time. It was a very weird feeling. So I stood up.
You knew something was wrong.
Yeah, I tried to catch my breath and stuff like that, but I remember I was passing out, and I fell over, and I woke up 3 days later. I was in the ICU at Rush. And I spent a month in Rush, and that was actually a blessing where it happened because
it was close.
It's right there.
Rush specializes in that.
Yeah.
And they didn't even think, when I came to 3 days later, I woke up with plugs, with tubes all down my throat and stuff like that. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Catheter and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I freaked out.
Yeah.
Pushed the nurse down, everything. I ripped everything out and stuff. Wow. They had to give me Valium and all kind of stuff to just kind of calm me down. Yeah. And once they told me what happened, so they told me that they had to bring the defibrillator. They didn't know if it was just a crazy thing. So after that, I woke up again, and I was getting an angiogram. Which is they go in through your wrist, and they were cleaning out the arteries and stuff like that in your heart. I mean, not the arteries, but the cavities and stuff like that in your heart. Mm-hmm. So, but when I woke up, it was like a big screen right here, and it looked like it's just a bunch of like veins or whatever. I'm looking, what's that? Like, that's your heart. Why would you tell me that?
Wow.
Start freaking out again.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So after that, and that was actually a blessing that I had that, because after that I became very health conscious of myself. So now I'm on a different vitamin regimen, working out. I'm not a big workout guy. Like I'm not trying to be
pumping iron.
Yeah, all the time. I do small workouts and stuff like that. More so a lot of cardio and stuff, and it put me like on a lot of things like skincare routines. It just opened myself up to a lot of different things.
Of course.
Just self-care,
of course,
and stuff. Things that I wasn't doing before, and even now, like with eating, I'm so far from like eating meat now. It's like the only meat that I do eat is probably like chicken or something, but that's still far in between, and because before I was a big cheeseburger guy, ghee rolls, stuff like that, and all of that kind of stuff. Enjoyed all of that kind of stuff every day, multiple times a day. Yeah. My palate has changed so much, and they say that when you have a heart attack, your palate changes sometimes.
Really?
I don't have a taste for that kind of stuff no more. Now, sometimes I do. Yeah. I have my cravings for like a, big cheeseburger, stuff like that. Yeah. But now,
how long has it been? When did that take place?
February 2nd, 2023.
2023. Okay.
Yeah. Years ago. Yeah. So, did you have high cholesterol?
So I had 3 doctors on my case, and they couldn't figure out why that I had the heart attack, because I had no signs leading up to it. So they started this interview process to try to, ask you questions as far as like, what's going on in your life? What are you doing? Do you do drugs? Or, how do you eat? Are you working? Stuff like that. And so I told them how I was working, because at the time I was working 7 days a week, plus a double here and there, stuff like that. It was crazy,
overload.
And it was, it became to be stress induced. That's what they
said that?
Yeah, that's what they diagnosed it as.
Yeah.
And so
he's in good shape.
You look in good shape, man.
Thank you.
I would have never thought that you were a heart attack. You had a heart attack.
So after I got out of the hospital, sat around the house for like maybe 4 or 5 days.
Did you have a stent put in? Or?
Yeah, I have a stent in my heart. Yes, okay. I do. Thank you for saying that, because I definitely left that out. Yeah. So during the angiogram, that's when they put the stent in.
Right.
And so I sat around for a few days. I'm looking at the house. I'm like, time to go back to work. I went right back to work a week later.
Wow.
People were looking at me crazy like,
Yeah.
Corey,
What are you
What the hell
doing
are
here?
you
what are you doing? Exactly.
Uh-huh.
I have kids to feed. And then two, on top of that, not even just that, because, the financial part of that was okay.
Right.
But just for my own mental sanity and clarity and stuff like that,
Yeah,
I'm a person that just likes to keep moving, and I'm not even going to lie. I healed on those sites.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
At my site and stuff like that. I healed there. Throwing up and stuff like that. It was crazy, but I did not complain.
Right.
And that's that's just kind of person that I am. And I think that, with me and Jose, we look at the other guards like that too, because that's how we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Don't complain, no excuses. You get to it, you handle that business. Okay.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
And some of the excuses that we hear,
Yeah.
brother, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
Okay. But, not to show any disrespect towards the younger generation, but that's where we encounter a lot of those issues from, because they just come from a different time period.
Yeah. They're
Then-
less responsible.
Exactly.
I always say that same thing.
Either less responsible or they don't have any responsibilities.
Yeah. No families. They're not married yet.
No discipline.
Go home, live with moms,
Yeah.
stuff like that. They can just go through job to job to job to job to job. But even still, then, even when we were that age, we weren't like that.
Yeah.
We still had an understanding of structure of, what it was to, perform and do a job. So that's one of the biggest things that we encounter when it comes down to it, because sometimes my phone blows up. I know his phone definitely blows up 24/7,
Right.
and just a mouthful of BS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you want to go out and hang out or whatever, this, that, and the other, Understand this. When it comes down to security, that,
We're essential.
yeah, just say a guard or whatever like that, finds his way to kind of, fuck off or whatever like that, gets caught or whatever, property management companies can cancel the contract at any time.
Right.
Understand this. You have people that's working behind you. Okay. You're going to put people out of work. People that have real bills, kids, and all that kind of stuff. You're going to throw them on a floater list or trying to find somewhere permanent or something like that.
Yeah.
You're damaging a lot of people's lives with that.
Oh yeah. Losing
You
an
know-
account is a
You
bad thing.
You got to be
Everywhere.
considerate of everybody that's involved.
Absolutely.
Messing with their livelihood.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, man. Fascinating, fucking fascinating, man. And I know you're a strong guy physically, but you would have to be for what you went through, everything you went through, military, heart attack, everything, all this shit. Man, my hat's off to you, man. Respect.
Appreciate it, man.
They could probably make a movie about you.
Yeah, for real, man. And just imagine in another 36 years, the story he's gonna have.
Yeah.
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 Even with the accident, the next day he was out.
Yeah.
He was out and about. I said, man, you serious? You out?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh, with like a car
He was-
accident or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was
Next
in the
day,
field.
He was working.
Wow.
I was in the field, and I had to go make a run. I had to go grab some keys from a guard that had accidentally took the keys to the building. And I was on by 18th Street, where Garfield splits and stuff like that, where UIC is and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Where it kind of bottlenecks right there, and everybody drives kind of crazy.
Yep.
I seen this guy in my rear view, and he's swerving. It looks like maybe like one of those old Honda Civics or something like that.
Yeah.
I seen him just drive, because I heard it was like, all that, all the exhaust and everything. So I didn't move. I'm in my lane, and I don't know which way he's going to go, so I'm just looking. And I seen him come across my rear view, coming from my driver's side. I didn't think he was going to hit me. It's a million cars out there. All I felt was boom, and spent me into the wall, stuff like that. And when I finally stopped spinning, I looked over and I seen him take the 18th Street ramp and keep going. So I'm like, you son of a bitch. So I get out, kind of freaked out a little bit. Then, paramedics came and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And Yeah, got to the hospital. They ran a test, and that's when they ran tests on my shoulder because I had a real bad pain in my neck and right at the top of my shoulder right here. It was excruciating at the time, maybe because I was still maybe in shock or something like that or whatever.
Right.
But it calmed down over a couple of days. It's still sore now, but like I said, pop some pain meds, kind of, and even still at home, kind of throw it in the sling, kind of rest it. I'm cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
The person that hit you think they were drunk?
Probably.
Yeah.
I got
Probably.
hit by a drunken driver.
You know,
too
I
that
think
time.
that's one of the most dangerous things that we have to live with today in our
yeah.
society.
Yeah.
Is drunk driving.
Yeah.
You know.
It could be other things too.
Yeah, many
know,
under
all
the
the
influence of anything, drugs, alcohol, whatever.
And then now it doesn't make it any better that now when we were coming up, had our first cars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they weren't as quick as what the cars are now.
Right.
These cars are just naturally quick. It doesn't matter if it's a
Any
freaking
car, any new car is really fast.
It doesn't matter if it's a freaking Kia Forte. The thing is quick as shit. You know what I mean? Just imagine, back in the day, we're driving with a Buick Regal or Park Avenue or something like that.
Yeah.
Foot down to the floor, and it's
Right.
it takes
not
you about
going
5
nowhere.
minutes to get to 80. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So we live in a really different time period. But just being intoxicated and stuff, while driving those kind of cars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it just makes it even more dangerous.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even though, and I'm not gonna lie, even getting back out in the field after that, it's wearing down now, but I do experience anxiety. When cars
That was
fly
happening to
by
me too.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like it's
Sure.
crazy being out there. So
Yeah.
it's like you have no control over how you're feeling and stuff like that.
It lasts a while.
Yeah.
That fear.
Yeah, so but what I did was I ordered this. It's a breathing tool that I ordered off Amazon.
Okay.
So it breathes. So you get like this little peppermint kind of thing, and peppermint is actually used to calm anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's like a little thing I kind of wear around my neck underneath my shirt or whatever. And whenever I feel that, I kind of just hit it a little bit. It's not electric. It's just a quick breathing tool, but it helps.
Yeah.
So I'm slowly getting past it, and hopefully soon, that can be over because that's overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of times, like over the weekends while I'm out and stuff. You got a lot of traffic, a lot of crazy people driving around and stuff like that. And
Right.
yeah, but other than that, like I said, stay on mission. Keep going.
100%. Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. So for the audience, I just want to explain real quick. Our company, we provide security for residential buildings, commercial buildings, schools, churches, all kinds of stuff, all throughout the city, suburbs even. You said from Evanston all the way out to how far south?
South Chicago Heights.
South Chicago Heights. You know how many buildings we have in total? Sites?
I think each of us are probably 20 plus. So I want to say we oversee, I'd say close to about 70
buildings?
70 properties.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And that's not including the schools.
Okay.
That's not including the schools. So, I mean, I don't even know how many schools we oversee, but as far as, residential, commercial buildings, about 70 total.
Yeah. That's
the
one thing
Chicago
I
area.
never got an experience with schools. I never worked in a school. You mentioned you did, right?
Oh yeah.
How was that experience for you? I mean, you're dealing with kids, so
Well, the schools are different. You're dealing with children. And the thing with high school security is you have to find a common ground with the kids. You can't be too nice and you can't be too hard at the same time. Because you want them to come to you.
right.
With certain issues, because sometimes we play different roles. Like you can be their counselor, their therapist, or whatever they need.
Approachable.
Yeah, they go through things at home, and especially in the areas that we have, in the schools that we have, those are troubled areas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They go through a lot of different things when they leave school. Sometimes for some of the students, school is in the way because they have to work and help support their family.
Yeah.
You know, these are grown men in 15-year-old bodies.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to have that knowledge of how to establish a common ground with them to say that, okay, I could come talk to Officer Korey or whatever like that, but I know I'm not gonna do no fucking crazy shit in front of him. I'm not gonna let nobody do nothing in front of him or anything like that. And then just with that, you're dealing with fights. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with parents and administration and stuff like that. It's a very political environment.
I imagine there'd be a lot of fighting between kids and stuff.
Oh yeah. But when you're dealing with teachers and administration and stuff like that, it becomes very political.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the revolving door when it comes to like the schools, see new guards every year.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of them don't last. Sometimes a lot of the schools don't, want them just because of a lot of things. Okay, just a lot of things are scrutinized. Just even how you come to work. You know your work attire, how you speak, how you approach people. You know your responses to things, stuff like that. They look at all of that. You know, when you think you're not, they're watching you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
right.
In those schools, it's cameras everywhere in the residentials. Now imagine the school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. They will watch you.
Right.
You know, if they have a target on you, an eye on you. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with working high school security and stuff, I would prefer, just in my preference, people that do not come from a hardcore, rough type of security, like clubs, stuff like that.
Right.
Because I've seen that happen, that instinct kicks in and you overreact to a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't, drug them around over the floor, hit them to, whatever.
Right.
I've seen that happen. Yeah. You have to understand the demographic of your area and what you're doing. Yeah. So yeah. It's fun though. Yeah.
I know some guys that some security officers that work part-time as private security, like a bodyguard, for instance, for celebrities, stuff like that.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that was always interesting to me, 'cause they're kind of like doing the same thing we do at the properties, but they're doing it with a person. They're focused on one person to protect that person.
Yeah.
And that's very interesting in itself. But I'm sure maybe I don't know about you, Jose, but I'm sure Korey, you grew up in the era that we did in the '90s and stuff. I'm sure you're familiar with Tupac.
Absolutely.
Tupac case.
Absolutely.
Now, them guys were off-duty police officers that worked for them and were supposed to protect them. And man, it's so crazy that how it went down, And the one guy killed himself.
Yeah.
Frank Alexander.
Yeah.
was the guy that was with him that night, and he was so disappointed about what happened. And he ultimately committed suicide.
Yeah.
But that's horrible, man. What do you think about it? I mean,
a lot of secrets went with him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In that kind of realm, as far as that kind of industry, celebrities and stuff like that, we don't know. We can only speculate.
Right.
What happens. We don't really know what really goes on. You know what I mean? We just know from what they put out on the media and stuff like that. And apparently it must be damaging enough to where he took his own life. And that's not the only case that happens. We've heard about stuff like that all the time.
Right.
We don't know what that world really is. We just know what it looks like from what they show us.
Yeah.
But we know, if you have common sense, that it's something way deeper than than what we see. You can feel it.
Right.
You can kind of weave through the bullshit.
Yeah.
Especially if you understand media. They only going to put out what's going to appease the crowd. So,
It's all part of the Illuminati.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's all
Yep.
steps.
oh yeah, agreed, brother.
Absolutely.
Have you ever done anything like that?
Actually, I have, man. It's so, with my license in as a private investigator, so that kind of expands, of what I've done. So I've done bodyguard work, I've done executive protection work, for high end individuals, high end C-suite, individuals for high end corporate organizations. Obviously, I'm not going to mention the organizations, but it's just shit you just can't make up. I'll never forget a story. I was doing executive protection for a top end individual, and I mean, just the mansion was just unbelievable. And it was something that I'm just like, holy shit. I'm like, I can't believe that, the shit happens, so, here I am, being like, doing executive protection detail, for this guy. But, come to find out, there was another individual that, I didn't know about until probably a couple of days later. So there was another individual that was actually doing surveillance on the same individual that
Wow.
I was doing executive protection, detail
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
And so, here we are, 1, 2 in the morning. Here I am with my bulletproof vest. I'm armed. With both of my guns, and I see another vehicle pull up, kind of like down to adjacent from the property, and turns off its lights and starts kind of walking, the property, and taking pictures, and just a lot of weird shit, and so of course I contact the individual and kind of let him know what's going on. Hey, this is what's going on, right now. So here's this individual, kind of give him in detail what's going on. So he decides to leave the property, and we go to the company he worked for. And she was like, okay, well, I'm going to be heading out of the restaurants. I need you to, to follow me, to the corporation. I said, okay, all right, not a problem. Here I'm not asking any questions. I'm doing my job, So,
Yeah.
I follow him to the job, and so after we arrived to the corporation, about 5 minutes later, that same vehicle arrives to the corporation as well. So now I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on?
Right.
So of course, I'm doing my due diligence and communicating with the individual, and it's like, okay, the same vehicle pulled up, is there something I need to know, because obviously I need to know. If there's something I don't know about, I'm not going to know how to react to it. I need to be in tune as to what's going on, so I can properly protect you, or properly know what my next move is going to be, So he spends about an hour and a half, at the corporation. And I'm like, okay, it's like 2 in the morning, what are you doing? What's going on? So, well, come to find out, what I didn't realize was that the individual that was providing surveillance on this guy was from the same company that hired me to provide executive protection for this guy. Wow. So, because obviously we're not supposed to know what the other individual is doing, right? For confidentiality purposes or whatnot. So, so I a couple of days later, I find out the whole story, and come to find out, the individual that I was providing executive protection for was like embezzling from the corporation.
Oh wow.
So he was doing some serious shit that he wasn't supposed to.
Wow.
So yeah, no, I mean, like I said, you just can't make this shit up, man.
Yeah.
And here I am. I'm wondering, okay, well, why am I providing, executive protection for this? Well, fuck, now I know why.
Right.
So yeah, and come to find out, he was just a high end,
You never know who people are.
Right. No,
Yeah.
he obtained, a high end, financial, role, within the organization. And yeah, okay. Well, so, you're taking money from the company. Okay. Got it. So, that's why I got this freaking guy here, who now, I'm taking the safety off my pistol. I'm like wondering, okay, is something going on? And yeah, no, come to find out. Well, that's the reason why this other individual is providing surveillance for this guy, because he was doing some dirty shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, but yeah, no, I've done, a couple, bodyguard work and some executive protection work for some, high end individuals. And like I said, it's fun. It's fun, but at the same time, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because you're with that individual. You could be with that individual as minimal as 4 hours, as little as 4 hours,
Right.
as much as 24 hours,
Right.
And, you can't leave that individual's side at all,
Right.
And it's just constant communication with the individual back and forth. And so it's fun, but because I love the rush.
Yeah.
I do. I love that type of rush, and if I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
the field, that, whether if it's security or law enforcement or whatever, might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fun, man. It's fun, but at the same time, it's pretty crazy sometimes.
Sure. And the responsibility is higher.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
dealing with somebody like that, if something goes down, it's on you.
Oh yeah.
Just like we were
Yeah.
talking about, Tupac guy. It was so bad for him, he committed suicide.
And then with stuff like that stuff gets publicized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not just a phone call, from
Right.
from an office.
It's Channel 7.
That's
Yeah, exactly.
The whole world is gonna know
Or whatever
Right.
channel,
Yeah.
The whole world's gonna know your name.
Yeah.
So that's another area in security. That's fascinating.
Let's talk.
Let's talk about it. We actually wanted to name the podcast that at first, but somebody already got that name, so
Okay.
let's talk about it. Every name I came up with, somebody's already got a podcast called that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I finally landed on this one, and
I love the name, man. I
Nobody's
love
got
it.
it yet.
I love it.
it's got meaning to it, multi-track minds.
Yeah, I like that.
That's describing me and Clark, because we're musicians, and we do a lot of different stuff.
Everything went media, basically.
Yeah, it just expresses the diversity in the podcast. Talk about
Yeah.
anything.
Right.
Exactly.
We're in the studio recording a lot. We perform live. We got that part of our life. And then we used to make movies and everything. We made
12 years old.
we made like
Oh, wow.
like real movies, like fucking feature length, shit and everything. So,
Be your
Right.
own stunt devils and everything.
Yeah.
very creative. Clark and I, if we're not creating, if we're not working on something, we don't feel right. We don't feel like we're, normal.
Yeah.
We
Makes
gotta,
me happy. So.
we constantly, got to be working on something.
Yeah.
So, speaking of music, what I'd like to know, what do you guys listen to, man? Who's your favorite?
Man, I listen to everything, man. Honestly, it's I have like in my library of YouTube music.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what I listen to.
What's in your playlist?
Everything, man. From for the exception of country.
Yeah.
I don't have any country songs, to be honest. Nothing against country. I just
No, that's a normal
you
thing.
know,
Everybody says that everything except country. That's
Yeah,
what they all
you
say.
But
know,
it's growing now, country.
it is.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
A lot
No,
of
it
people
is.
like it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyonce
so
has everybody
some-
wearing
Yeah.
cowboy
Oh,
boots.
Cowboy.
man, I don't even want to talk about that, man. Come on, man. It's
Yeah.
like, but no, I mean, everything from, just
Are you more
salsa
old?
music.
Are you more oldies or
Old school.
Old
Yeah,
school?
no, I'm more old school.
Yeah, me too.
I'm more old school. As far as like slow songs, like 80s, 90s, slow songs.
You salsa dance?
I do.
All
I mean,
right.
I'm no damn professional, man, but I do. I do. I like dancing the salsa.
Do you like Mark Anthony?
I do. I do. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Mark Anthony. So is my wife,
Yeah,
and
me too.
I listen to him, all the time, and he's part of my library too as well.
Yeah.
But I go from that to I was kind of I loved that freestyle house music.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Me too.
Well, you're from Chicago, so
Yeah. So I did that a lot. Little breakdancing here and there, but just I love the music. I love the music, but I go from that to Korn, Metallica, Slipknot.
Nice.
So I listen to all that, man.
how about Ozzy Osbourne?
I do. May he rest in peace, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man. No, I was torn, man. I was torn when they announced that, that he passed away, and
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I was literally, listening to him the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. So
He's one of my biggest influences.
Well, you see, Chris somehow converted himself into Ozzy Osbourne. He did it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, the glasses.
there you go, man.
Fuck off.
So no, yeah, man. From his Black Sabbath days, to from him going solo, so it. But I listen to everything, man. Everything, R&B, pop, the modern pop music nowadays, and but yeah, man, it's just everything.
That's cool,
Everything.
man.
Yeah, then my old school rap. There's this, this new era of rap. I'm
different.
not digging it, man. It's just I'm
different.
sorry to say it's different. It's
Yeah.
different. Nothing against it, but it's different.
Did you guys see
There's
that?
only one guy who I like is Kendrick.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I like him.
He's definitely a good lyricist.
Yeah. But I'm more of the old school, rap type guy.
Like
so
Tupac, Biggie.
Tupac, Biggie, Eminem.
Yeah. The greats.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Snoop Dogg, Ice
Yeah.
Cube, all
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
And even P Diddy a little bit, whatever, but
yeah.
some of his shit,
yeah,
but
good stuff.
Can't deny it, man. The guy-
he had good stuff.
The guy made great music. You can't deny that.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. So, but those, that was all that's in my library, man. I'm more of an old school type guy. So,
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
Because that's who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Corey?
I'm glad we all can be on the same page because I'm definitely an old school guy as
Yeah.
well. Like we were just saying, like all the new school stuff. First of all, it all sounds the same. Can't understand really what they're saying. They're not really talking about nothing. Everybody is talking about the same exact thing.
Yeah. And they all rap the same, too.
They all rap exactly the same. And but like around the house, we like to listen to just like have like on a just some the low tone like orchestra, symphony stuff like that,
Oh,
like
nice.
Clint Mansell, Hans Zimmer, stuff like
He's
that.
one of my favorites.
I love Hans Zimmer.
Me too. Me too.
And just one thing I have on repeat sometimes is what he did with the movie Interstellar.
Oh, that's one of my favorite albums.
Oh yeah.
From Interstellar.
Oh yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And I listen to that
Wow.
all the time. I listen to that while I'm at work, while I'm driving.
Yeah.
It's
You know
so
what
it puts you in a right state of mind.
It does.
For sure.
It does. It definitely does. And like Clint Mansell, he did Smoking Aces.
Okay. The movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those teams that you heard on that was clean. Oh man, yeah, it's just between those two for me.
Yeah.
Where it go, brother?
Okay, so before we close out, the topic today was security. So I just want to wrap up with this here. What do you guys have to say to a young individual out there right now who's thinking about getting into security? I know we mentioned the perk card earlier. It's very important. That's the first thing they have to do is get your perk card. It's very easy to do online now and everything. And that's permanent employee registration card. It stays with you your whole life. And it's not only for security, it's for all kind of other positions and careers.
It's basically fingerprinting.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah, making sure your record stays straight and everything and all that. You can't have any felonies, so
Right.
keep that in mind, kids. Don't get in trouble. Let's take it to Jose. Jose, what would you tell a young person right now trying to get interested?
I would definitely, let them know that, they need to do their homework, on security. They need to do their due diligence on security because security is not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not for everyone. You honestly need to have the right mindset,
Yes.
to be in security, whether it's armed, unarmed, whatever the case may be, whether if you're just, in hospitality and customer service type, security, it's not for everyone. It's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
you need to, we definitely need to coach them, and just let them know that, hey, it's, you need to be disciplined, and, to ensure that, you not only solidify that role, but,
Yeah.
you're there to provide a presence. You're there to be some type of deterrent,
Yes.
for unwanted individuals, that are wanting to, enter, a building, unwanted or whatnot. But,
Right.
it's letting them know that, they need to prepare themselves. They need to do their homework. They need,
Yes.
to read about it,
Yeah.
learn about it,
Talk to other people.
talk to other people,
in the industry.
Exactly. Do their due diligence,
Yeah.
and talk to individuals that veteran individuals that have been in the game,
Yes.
that have done it for so many years, so they can get a better understanding of what they're getting into.
Right.
Because again, it's not just obtaining, your perk card and your 20-hour and just be there for a warm body and not know what the
Right.
fuck you're doing.
And from experience, from personal experience on the job for so many years, you could sit there for a fucking year and nothing's going on. And you may think, well, this is all it is. I just sit by this desk and watch the cameras and whatever, and nothing's ever. But then all of a sudden, one day something fucking happens. And for example, when I first started out, I started out as a doorman first, but it's still a security kind of position, And it was about 2:00 in the morning. This was a high-rise building. And there was a little boy that got sick in the middle of the night, severe stomach pains. So I got the call at the desk. I called the ambulance. My son's having stomach pains, and let them send him right up. So I said, okay. Well, when the fire department showed up, the elevators went down. Wow. Elevators were just not fucking working.
Wow.
And they turned around and immediately looked at me. And this was a building that I wasn't at for too long. I was maybe a couple weeks there, and I didn't know what to do. And I'll never forget it. The firemen were just like pissed at me because I wasn't ready to solve a problem. So what they had to do is go up the stairs.
Wow.
And
How many
this kid was
flights?
like on the 24th
Oh
floor,
my God. Oh wow.
Oh,
20 something, whatever floor, I don't remember exactly, but they had to go up 20 flights of stairs and back down.
with equipment.
Yes, with the equipment.
Oh,
And then
wow.
they had to bring the kid back all the way down the
gosh.
stairs. And on their way out, one of the firemen stopped back by the desk and he said, he wasn't nice about it. You know, he wasn't like, oh, I understand. He came by me and he told me something I never forgot. It always stood with me. He said, tell your boss they should have somebody more qualified for your job.
Oh wow.
And that fucking just killed me, man. You know, there's nothing worse than that. Somebody looking at you and saying, you're not good enough for here. To tell your boss to get somebody better. You know.
well, how would you have fixed an elevator? What did they expect?
Well, sometimes doorman got keys to the elevator. The box and stuff. Firemen could, push a few buttons or whatever. They know about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some of them have their own keys and stuff. I didn't know where anything was kept. I didn't know who to call. I mean, I was just fucked.
Should have just called
You
911.
know.
Yeah.
Well, they are. That's who they are. But firemen, I have a lot of respect for. It's one of the positions that I think is most important in this world. Because they can be assholes. They work like 24-hour shifts or whatever. So in the middle of the night they're sleeping in the station, and then something happens. They got to jump up. They're cranky.
Yeah.
And you have to know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is it's training. It's knowing
All
the-
training.
right.
Yes.
Knowing the post orders for that specific site, knowing the procedural, having that procedural knowledge of what to do for an elevator entrapment. There's special keys. There's a special key. Put in the
Right.
hole. You turn it. The door's open, and you
Right.
get them out. But yeah, a lot of it is training, and a lot of it is knowing what the policies and procedures, because it's all site specific.
Right.
Each site is different. So
Right.
each site is going to have site specific, procedural protocols, on how to deal with it, so,
Right.
but, that also falls on, the account manager or operations manager, and, that's why, and I'm not perfect, but, I try to, tell my guards, hey, what do you guys need from me? Do you guys need more site training? What, is there anything, what can I do, to ensure your success at the site,
Right.
So, a lot of it is that, and, unfortunately there's just, management individuals that just don't care,
Yeah.
they don't care. They just care about coverage and
Yeah.
just really nothing else. I try not to be that way. I try to, to ensure the success of all my officers, because it's in the end, it's my job to provide that necessary support and guidance, training and tools, for my officers to be successful each and every day. So yeah, it's all about training, and, but yeah, no, that sucks, for a first responder to tell you that, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that sucks. And but yeah, it's all about training. It's about knowing those procedural protocols. So
Right. But after that day, I must say, then I made sure after that I would never be in that position again.
You built the elevator after that.
Yeah. No, but no, if that would happen today, it wouldn't be much of a problem for me because I know what to do now, and I know how to open the book and look in the directory and see who to call. And if there's now, I have to do it myself. I just, call the elevator company, talk to them, tell them we're down. Sometimes they got a computer that they can, push a few buttons to get that sucker running again. There's things you can do. But at that moment, I was fresh. I was green. I didn't know shit. So, I just looked like an idiot. And it shattered me. But I'm glad it happened because, like I said, I made sure that never happened again.
Well, I guess in that case, he did build an elevator life-wise because he went up from there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So in the end, to answer your question is, how, I would express to, the younger generation if they're going to get into security is, ensure you're disciplined and strong-minded. Because if you're not in it to ensure safety and security, for individuals, and if you're not in it to provide a safe and secure environment, if you're not passionate about security, don't get into it.
Right.
Don't get into it because, like I said, it's security, more so nowadays, is kind of what we do is 80 to 90% is that providing that hospitality and customer service,
Right.
Because every individual you're going to run into is a customer,
Right.
and, that other 10, 20% is that actual security,
Right.
observing, reporting, and whatever else,
And first line of defense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we are.
You're
We
the
are.
first person they
Yeah.
come to.
We're the face of that site,
Right.
and we those individuals also need to take the initiative, to ensure their own success there,
Right.
because as soon as they come through those doors, you are the first person that they see,
Right.
you are the face, of that site. So
Right.
it's also about taking initiative, to ensure your own safety, to ensure what the emergency, protocols are,
Right.
for that site, and in case something does, fucking go down,
Yeah.
you know what to do,
Right.
you know how to handle the situation, so yeah. But if they don't have a passion for it, they're not in it to do that, then they shouldn't get into it. That's what I would say.
I'd like to add to once you're in the industry and you start working, a very important thing is don't get too friendly
Correct.
with
Right.
residents or your customers per se. Because I've had a lot of experiences where people were friendly with me and like buddy and everything, and bringing you coffee and everything, and just you think is the best person in the world, but the minute something goes wrong, that's when they come to you, and they expect you because they were nice to you. Now they figure they own you. Now they got you.
Yep.
Right, cup of coffee.
And the other thing is tips. People try to tip you. Okay, I don't care if somebody comes by you with $100 bill, whatever. You cannot take it.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
because once you take that money, again, it's like they own you. They're gonna remember that. They're gonna think that you got to do something special for them now. Now they're gonna come in and say, "Listen, let me park in the front for an hour."
You owe me one.
Or overnight, let me park in the garage or something they're not supposed to do.
Right. Yeah,
And
exactly.
they can cost you to lose your job.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good one, Chris.
And yeah,
No, it is, and it's true.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
true. It's absolutely true.
I've experienced it. I don't want to get into the situation, but that's exactly what happens, man.
Yeah.
Korey, what you got to save to close us out?
My biggest thing, whether you're doing armed or unarmed, conflict resolution. That's my biggest thing, and to me, that's a big umbrella. You have to know, first of all, how to deal with people. That's hospitality, for one, and just have that mental clarity to be able to handle any kind of situation. You know what I mean, and also have emotional control. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and not act out of emotion.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, and I tell people all the time, pray, because you can't be scared. Fear and God does not occupy the same place.
Right.
Okay, so you have a site, you have residents, stuff like that. Just like you said, we're the face of, we're the first line of defense, stuff
Yeah.
like that. You have to own that,
Yeah.
and you have to know that.
Yeah.
And then that the people that you are securing have to trust
Right.
that you and that company, not
Yeah.
just you, but you and that company
Yeah.
is going to be a protective aspect in their living quarters. So, whatever is commercial or, or whatever it is. So that's just, in a simple aspect, that's just
Yeah.
what I preach, because because conflict resolution, it's just a big umbrella. It applies to so many different things,
Right.
So
So
Absolutely.
conflict resolution, communication
yes.
is very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Communicate with each other, communicate with your supervisors, and what was the other one?
Discipline.
Discipline and training.
Training. Yes.
Very, very important.
I think me and you had a conversation the other day about training.
Yeah.
As far as continuous training, whether it's monthly, every couple of weeks, whatever.
Right.
Just some sort of training material, because in the event that something does happen, if you're constantly training all the time, that training kicks in just like that.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
and that alleviates the emotional part about it.
Muscle memory.
Exactly. So if you just constantly training, and then initiative. Take initiative to train yourself. Don't wait on an operations manager or whoever to, to conduct. No, conduct that with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you being the first line of defense, you face a lot of danger.
Right.
You want to protect your life, right? You
Sure.
want to go back home to your kids and your family and stuff, right?
Right. That's the objective. Yes.
Why wouldn't you want to do that? So yeah, that's
Just
my
like
thing.
just like police officers.
Yeah.
The main thing is make sure you go home after your shift.
Yeah, you
So
want
next
to
meeting, go take some karate lessons.
come home the same way you left.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Safe.
Absolutely. Yep. 100%.
Well, gentlemen, we want to thank you for coming today. It's a pleasure
you.
having you guys.
Likewise, man. Thank you.
And we would like for you guys to return if you'd like.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
It's a definite honor, man. Thank you.
There's a lot more we can talk about. This is all very interesting stuff, and it's educational.
Yes.
And I'm sure that somebody's gonna get something out of this show. They're gonna learn something.
Yeah.
So
I hope
yeah,
so. We definitely hope so.
Absolutely. Clark, you got anything to add before we close out?
Not much. It was just-
Any new sexual fantasies or anything you want to talk about?
Jeez, there's so many. I can't even come up with any. Right now.
Bestiality or anything?
No,
It's a whole new different podcast.
it was a pleasure with these two guys. It was
Absolutely.
a great conversation.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
Likewise.
All right, ladies
Absolutely.
and gentlemen, Multi-Track Minds podcast. Please remember to subscribe, like, follow, share, help us out. And just for one more time, if you could, this camera right here, Jose, show them your T-shirt. I don't think it came out on the other camera.
There we go.
That's it right there. Chris Godler, Classic Rock Experience. We got some new music on YouTube this week, so check it out. It's we got 4 new songs coming out, and we appreciate all the support we can get. All right, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jose.
Absolutely,
Thank you,
man.
Corey.
Thank you.
Thank you,
guys.
Clark.
Clark.
We'll see
Thank
you
you,
next
guys.
time. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
All right.